Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Complete Fitness Podcast. It is me, Evan, coming at you right now, today, episode 106. Thank you so much for listening, subscribing. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for listening on any podcast platform that you are listening on. We greatly appreciate it. Please continue to share, review, subscribe, give us feedback. Although it's scary and criticism's tough, we need to hear it, okay? We are not professional podcasters, which you notice. And we need all the critiques and helps to make this more enjoyable, if not already. If you are enjoying it, please share, review, subscribe. Like we say, it is much appreciated. Core 4 supplements, guys. Other than that, go to core4supplements.com for all your supplement needs. I got some greens right here, guys. Great way to get, if you're not getting your, phone's ringing. If you are not quite getting in your greens throughout the day for whatever reason, you can get a good serving. You just mix it with water. Tastes delicious. Doesn't taste like grass like you might imagine, but we got a bunch of good flavors. That is the tropical berry flavor there. It'll just help you get those fruits and vegetable servings all while hydrating yourself and drinking water. So it's a good tool if you find it hard to add those to your daily life regularly. It's also good for kids to get in their veggies because we know they don't enjoy eating broccoli and kale. The nerve. It's the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. It's the new year. It's a new me. This is my year. Okay, we've heard it all before, right? Let's work on consistency. Hopefully your last year started, or your this year, new year, new me, started a year ago. Hopefully it started 2 years ago. Hopefully it started like 10, 15, 20 years ago when you realize that that's just a mindset. And that's something that people are using to kind of give a good starting line, which is fantastic. If you are really out of sorts and you needed a good hard line in the sand and you use January 1st as that hard line in the sand, fantastic, more power to you. But 9 times out of 10, what we see is people not doing that. And we have vague, this is the power of the internet. You know how much I love the internet. We have the vague word vomit that doesn't mean anything. And you, before actually doing any work, setting up a plan, thinking about what you want to do, thinking about that it's going to be hard, thinking about the sacrifices you're going to make, thinking about the lifestyle changes you're going to have to make to, let's say, do something like get in shape. Realizing that it's not just all fun and games, but before we do all of that, we got to get the likes for it. So we put it out on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and say, this year I am doing blah, 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 blah. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that. And then what you do is February comes and that's barely started or it hasn't gone according to plan, which is going to happen. It never goes to plan. And all these things happen. And on top of you just being disappointed with yourself, you also feel like you're being judged by 1,000 different people and it just weighs on you and it is just no good. So that is why I come at it with this attitude of this is my year, new me, because we've heard it all before. Work in silence. Get it done in silence. Your close circle is going to help you out, but enough with the projecting before you do any work. And then, it's the same as like a lot of times what's going on now with, people are around my age, entrepreneurs, all of this thing. And it's a tough line because a lot of entrepreneurial work comes from social media nowadays. Disgusting, but it's the truth. And you need to have a good social media presence in order to grow your company. And if you're in something like sales and your Instagram feed is what is going to sell, whatever, let's say you make t-shirts, and you have an Instagram, and the Instagram gets a lot of followers, so people see your shirts and then thus buy your shirts. That's a different story. But a lot of people will start a business, quote unquote, and the first thing they do is start an Instagram, or they'll start a new lifestyle, or all of a sudden they're fitness people. So this is, instead of Evan Moore 13, Instagram shout out. Give me a follow. Just kidding. It's private. I'm going to make my new one for 2023. It's called Evan Moore Fit. And it's just, it's about 3, 4, or 5 weeks of me posting pictures in the gym. And then I get tired of doing it. And then that just collects dust, more or less. And it's just kind of this mindset we have, and this quick thing, and everything just, you want to go viral and blah, blah, blah. But the point is, the reason I'm saying it with such negativity to start is to just get it out of your system right now. If you are just excited about the short-term thought of telling everybody that you're going to get in shape, or telling everybody that you're going to, it takes work. If you are somebody who is out of shape, who has fallen out of shape over the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it may be, this year may be your year. This may be the year that you start everything up, but you are not, come December 31st, January 1st, going to just be a different person without work. It is a lot of work. You don't wake up January 1st after the ball drops, after Ohio State misses an easy gimme field goal to go to the national championship, and then all of a sudden just be different. I wish we could. That'd be great. Maybe you're hearing this right now and going, damn, Evan, what is this? You're just taking the wind out of my sails. It's not. I want that mindset is fantastic, but the projecting of it and telling people you're it before you do any of the work is what causes the problem. It adds to the aid. We had a guy in here join the gym. He was an old member of us, lost 50 pounds, old member like 6-7 years ago, before this Wixom location was even around. He lost 50 pounds with us. He came back in 3-4 weeks ago, said, I'm getting right again. I had, a bunch of personal stuff going on. I got real down, real depressed, and I'm coming back, and he's in here and he's buying supplements, and he's like, I went and I bought a bunch of new clothes, and I'm excited for him. And I say, hey, all right, we're gonna get this done. You're working out 3 days a week, and we get him on a plan. And so the first week, 3 days a week. Second week, 2 days a week. And now I haven't seen him in a couple weeks. So I shoot him a message. Hey, man, looking forward to working with you. When are you going to come back in? And he hasn't gotten back to me. Now, he's going to, right? But it's that pressure that he's established on himself to saying, this is my year. I'm done with the old me. I'm done with this. Yes, it could be a good motivational tool, but at the same time, it really puts a lot of pressure on you to where if you're not perfect in the first whatever few hours of January, you start to feel the darkness come in. You start to feel a cave, and you start to go, this is too hard. This is not me. Try it out first, right? Establish who you're going to be. Figure out who you're going to be. You might go, I'm going to work out 6 days a week for the rest of the year, starting January 1st. And you might realize after 2 weeks that really does a number on your body. And you just don't have the knees for it. And you don't need it to benefit yourself. You don't need to work out 6 days a week in order to get the goal you want. And so you might have to adjust. You might go, it's more like 4 days a week plus yoga, which is I've noticed has been benefit. Or it's 4 days a week, and I'm going to start adding in some running once the weather gets nice, just because it's less, strenuous on XYZ. That's okay. But the all or nothing pressure, this all or nothing mindset really, really gets us going. And the idea that we need to project and tell people, everybody, this is, you got to come with the balance. And as much as we like to hype it up, especially this time of year, and pat you on the back and say, all right, we're going to do it. And as much as people like me are going to be in your corner and support you every single step of the way, when you stop showing up for yourself and I ask you, hey, man, what's going on? How come I haven't seen you? And on top of you just saying, life got crazy, I didn't get in the gym this week, you're also saying, I haven't made it in the gym 2 weeks. Nothing's changed. I'm still depressed. I'm still down. I'm just going to be me. That's a whole different avenue to climb out of, right? And if we don't give ourselves some grace and learn to give ourselves some grace, no change is ever going to happen. And so I want you to change. If your goal is change, if your goal is to get fit, I want you to start one day at a time and think of your main vision. What is your main goal? My main thing is to become healthier this year. My main thing is to become healthier this year. My main thing is to become healthier this year. Guess what? If January sucks, you got 11 months to figure it out and still get healthier this year. If it sucks through March, it's St. Patty's Day, you go, okay, I got to get it going. I'm 9 months behind, or I'm 3 months behind. I got 9 months to figure out how to be healthy. It's okay. But when you say, I'm doing this hard line in the sand, it takes a special person to do it. If you can do it and commit to it, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're a strong, hard-willed person, and that's fantastic. And you, of course, are going to see change. Of course, hard line in the sand. But most of us, myself included, need that grace time. Need to be able to be like, hey, right now this is rough. That's okay. This isn't forever. I'm battling through this one crisis at a time. I'm going to get myself out of this slump by hitting the gym 2 times a week. Then I'm going to start surrounding myself with people I enjoy. And then I'm not going to just go home, eat Taco Bell, and crash on the couch and just sleep. And then I'm going to lose my job. And then I'm going to do XYZ that got me in this mess before because I was too depressed to get out of bed. I'm going to make sure that that's the old me. I'm going to work one thing at a time, one crisis at a time. And maybe that diet doesn't get handled in January, but you start moving your body, you get into the gym. Or maybe the diet gets handled, but you don't get into the gym until February, March. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time. Figure out what you want to do. You might not start working out till April. But because that's when the weather gets nice if you live in Michigan. And then all of a sudden you're running and moving and you want to go outside and you learn that you want to just walk. You want to walk 2.5 hours a day and you walk 10 miles a day and do whatever you want to do. And that's how you want to get in shape. Guess what, guys? You will. That's a lot of calories. That's a lot of moving. Yes, believe it or not, you could walk 2.5 hours a day and change your life. Now, that's a huge time commitment. Most of us don't have that time. But if that's the way you want to go about it, maybe that's what works for you. Maybe you do have that time, and maybe that's very therapeutic for you. Pop in a podcast, like the Complete Fitness Podcast, and you walk 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day. And that's what you do. And that gets those calories burning, and it's good for your joints because you're moving. It's better for your knees because you're losing weight. And then by the time, next year comes, then you're able to pop around in a gym or do something different. Who knows? Give yourself that time. Give yourself that grace. The hard lines, although they can be fantastic, it's a rarity. It needs to be a special type of person. If that's you, awesome. And I want to meet you. And I hope I know you. And I'm listening to you right now. I hope that is you. And I want you to tell me. I want you to come in and say, hey, this is it. I did it. I said I was going to do it. You kind of told me in that podcast that I couldn't do it, Evan. Ha, ha, ha. Guess what? I did. I'm a better man than you. Please do. I think that's great. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm absolutely not saying that. But I'm saying give yourself some grace with it. Figure it out. You give everybody else. If you had a best friend who was overweight and struggling and all they said was, in 2023, I want to make a difference. And then by the time February came, they really haven't gotten off the couch yet. You wouldn't just be judging them and belittling them and putting them down and saying, oh, well, better luck next year. Would you? No. So why do you do it to yourself? Okay? It's ever evolving. There's always a new day to put that hard line in the sand. January, schmanuary. It's a great thing. It's a great thing everybody does, but you don't have to. And if it doesn't benefit you, it adds pressure to you. If you're feeling like this week, with your schedule off and kids are off at school and you're just trying to be perfect for your diet this week, but you realize this is still a hectic week after because my schedule's all out of whack. Work is slow. Work is super, whatever it is. It's okay. This week is going to come and go, and next week can be your start. This week can come and go, and the week after can be your start, okay? Just get it going. Next freaking Thursday could be when you start. It's okay. It does not have to be this perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. That's the other thing. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to go, I got 12 months to work on myself with no other distractions. I got no birthday parties, no holidays. I don't need to be there for anybody else. Nothing's going to go wrong in my life. I'm just going to be able to wake up when I want. I'm just going to be able to eat what I want, when I want, how I want. I'm going to be able to work out as much as I want. I'm going to feel like I'm able to work out. I'm going to want to work out every single day. We know that that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. Our lives are constantly in balance with everyone else's lives around, especially if you're a parent, member of a family, whatever, job, that type of family. You have responsibility. You have to do crap you don't want to do often. Thus is life. So it's never going to be perfect. The point is, get the ball rolling, keep it going, find momentum, and mess around and find what works. Here at our gym, it's all about the community here. The workouts are hard. Some workouts you're going to like more than others. Some body part, like a lower body day, you might not love for a while. Cardio day, you might not love for a while. We know avoidance is never going to bridge that gap. And if we're trying to be well-rounded and a well-fit person and get into the fitness world and figure out what it's like to feel good and healthy and get our nutrition in line and start adding more protein into our diet, start adding greens and the nutrients and minerals that we need, and be well hydrated and understand what it's like to not live off of just caffeine and energy drinks and no sleep, and actually realize what it feels like to be healthy and kind of get the light bulb to click on. You got to get out of that comfort zone and do things you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Okay. And that happens one at a time. When you structure it out and say this, it takes a special person to do it. When you structure it out and say this, and you try your hardest and do it, and when you don't do it, you go, hey, I'm going to do it next time. That's a different ball game, and that's where the breakthroughs are going to happen. Okay? Give yourself the same grace you would give your friend, your brother, your sister, your child, your husband, your wife, whatever it may be. It goes a long way. And that is my spiel for today. Additionally, man, that was a time warp. I just ranted because I just got fed up with this. And literally, message came across my Facebook here. And that's what got me going, just about the new year, new me attitude. I'm like, yeah. Calm down. Let's do the work first, huh? Let's do the work first. How about at the end of the year, you talk about how awesome 2023 was, instead of talking about what it's going to be before it even happens, and get congratulated and patted on the back and celebrated before any of the work is done. Again, I realize that makes me sound horrible, sound like a douche. It sounds rough, but being in the fitness profession and watching and having so much of my job and life be on social media and watching all this stuff, I get irritated because everyone is capable of doing it. But we have this idea that we get to blog about it first, get all the celebration for it, and then not do it. It doesn't even have to be fitness world. People say, I'm going back to school. Congratulations. That's awesome. Fantastic. And it is love. It is support. I'm not rolling my eyes at it. I go, okay, that's great. But then that person is depressed 6 months later because they didn't go back to school. They've always said they were going to, and now it's 10 years, 2 kids later, and you never went back to school, and blah, 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 blah. Keep it off of those sweeping declarations. Keep them to yourself. Prove yourself right. It's you versus you. Doesn't matter. You could still say, 2 years later, guess what I did 2 years ago? I went back to school. And in that way, it's going to be so much cooler anyway if you're about the posting life. But it's also, you did the work. That's what you get the reward for. That's what the change came. It's easy to talk about it. A lot of people talk about it. But the ones that make the difference, the dogs, the real ones, are the ones that do it. Talk less, do more. Huzzah. God, I hate that I said that. I'm going to edit that part out. I don't know why. I've never said huzzah before in my life. So dorky. All right, guys. Yeah. I don't have a New Year's resolution this year. Last year, I didn't have a resolution like this is the year that I blah, 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 blah. Because like I said, like I've been saying for years, I don't love them. But what I did is challenge myself to run a marathon. I was going to be a dad. You've heard about this on this podcast before. I did those things. I didn't do that this year. I didn't say this is the year I'm going to do this. This is the year I'm going to do that. Because I know this is the year of me figuring out a lot. I'm really figuring out how to be a dad. I figured out how to keep a baby alive so far. But now I need to figure out how to have a great relationship with my son, and start teaching him things. And this is going to go on forever. And this is the very start of that. So that's all I care about. Of course, my work in the gym. I want to make sure the gym is continuing to grow. Everybody in here is looked after. We have a very, very beneficial year for everybody who walks into this gym, whether they're a member for 3 weeks or 300 weeks. Impact is what I do, is what I love, is what I want to do. And that is my goal. And that's about it. I'm not I'm doing this, I'm not doing that. And the beautiful thing is, guys, maybe March comes and I run another marathon. Maybe April comes and I run another marathon. Or maybe I do a triathlon. Or maybe I blah, 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 blah. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. And maybe next year's podcast, I'm going to say, hey, remember last year? This is what I ended up doing. And I hope that's kind of how you approach this year. Do the work and then talk about it later. Yeah, that's it. I very much appreciate you again for listening. I realize this one was kind of harsh and tough lovey. And if it comes across as real negative, that's not my intention. I'm trying to just switch up the mindset so we can have some real difference. I don't like seeing people let themselves down, as nobody does. And the truth is, if you just do you versus you for a while, if you let yourself down, you do it privately, and you know how to fix that, and you know when to lean on people. But when it's out in the world, you get a bunch of outside noise that does not have to be in, a bunch of outside feelings that does not have to be in, a bunch of pressures that people might not even be intentionally putting on you, but you feel from the outside coming in. And life's hard enough. Let's do it. Let's have a real change. If you are looking to change and make a difference now, not 2023, but now, let's get it rolling. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard, and that's okay. That's okay. It's good to do hard things. That's where we change. All right, guys. Love you. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.